good morning everyone. Welcome to Jababeka Industrial Talk, a webinar series brought to you by Jababeka Industrial Estate, the leading industrial estate in Southeast Asia. So with your host here, I'm Michelle. I'm also the manager of industrial investment of Jababeka, and we're also welcoming all of the participants. So today is a very special day because we have not only one but two guest speakers, and they're coming from Malaysia. Please welcome Mr. Sheikh Faleh SM, the founder and the futurist foundation and futurist ASEAN, and Dr. Anand Doraisingam, the founder and CEO of Kini Group and CEO of ASEAN.
Good morning.
So, yeah, and also let's welcome, of course, Bapak Rudi Subrata, the General Manager of Jababeka Industrial Estate. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, our speakers.
Thank you.
Okay, so ASEA is short for Andalusian Association for Research and Industrial Cooperation. So we have talked previously about the Industry 4.0 and the transformation, and today we want to hear about the adoption of digital manufacturing and its ecosystem. So, Pak Rudi, would you like to introduce our guest, Pak, to the viewers today? What is so special about our guest today?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. This is very special topic. The topic is about the digital transformation. I invite the expert in here, Pak Sheikh and Pak Anand, can explain about the digital transformation. But the point is, the ASEA, who are founded by Pak Sheikh and Pak Anand, is the best, idea. Now, I believe after the pandemic, the business of the digital transformation, the aerospace, everything will be going up.
I'm still curious about what dream you have for Jababeka about a high-tech industry.
This morning before the webinar, I'm talking with my friend Pak Sheikh that we have a planning. After the pandemic, we have some idea to boost the digital transformation in Jababeka. We want to make special cluster for industrial park. Then we can name it Jababeka Real Tech Industrial Park or Jababeka Aviation Industrial Park. This is the idea. Jababeka, I believe, with the supporting of ASEA, it will be the leading for the industrial estate.
So Jababeka is now pursuing for more massive expansion towards accommodating the real tech and aerospace industry in collaboration with ASEA. You're aiming that we're going to give what Jababeka has right now, the geolocation strategic advantage, and also with strategic partnership with ASEA, we can pursue this dream. Okay, so with this collaboration with ASEA today, I'm going to ask to our first guest speaker here, to Mr. Sheikh. We want to hear more about your organization and what is the role of ASEA, and do you have any program so far in Indonesia? Can you please share it with us, Mr. Sheikh?
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheikh Faleh, founder of Futurist Foundation and also the futurist for ASEA, or the ASEAN region. Just want to introduce the Futurist Foundation first. The Futurist Foundation, we have been doing a lot of applied research on how to encourage the business ecosystem in the region, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei, to not working in a silo mindset. This ideation started in 2008 when I invited John Nesbitt. John Nesbitt is a famous futurist. He authored a book on mega trends, very famous futurist in the world. We have Tun Mahathir at that time. So me, John, and Tun Mahathir were brainstorming in terms of how to break this mindset that most businessmen have, that is silo. There's no synergy in terms of technology, in terms of ideas, and what more technology. 2010, we formed the Futurist Foundation in Malaysia, in the Prime Minister's department. And we have done a lot of applied research on the futurology on this method. 2015, I went to Indonesia and we brainstormed with a few partners there, the ecosystem over there. And recently, 2 years ago, I find that Indonesia needs a new mindset where it comes from my partner, Dr. Anand. He's the CEO for Asia, for Asian region, where we can participate in this non-silo mindset, where we can be a center of excellence of technology, where the businessman and industry player doesn't have to spend so much of money building their own R&D division or focusing on technology where it's very expensive. And now with the COVID pandemic, frankly, it's more reason for us to revisit our strategy, especially on technology development in terms of working together. Yeah, just a brief of my chairman. I'm the founder of Futurist Foundation. My chairman used to be the Deputy Minister for Ministry of International Trade and also Natural Resources and Environment in Malaysia. For the past 10 years, we have done a lot of brainstorming session and also a few projects in Indonesia. The one that before I went to Jababeka and brainstormed with Rudy and the board of directors, we were at Kertajati, West Java government, to help them in terms of value adding their idea of building Aero City, the aerospace park, where in Spain, my partner Asia have developed aerospace ecosystem, starting with a simple startup in an incubator. Until now, we have 1 kilometer radius of aerospace park in Spain, in Seville, where people like Airbus and so on are building their research center there. So without further ado, maybe I would like to share, next slide please, maybe that I want to share a bit of ICA profile. So maybe for those who are interested, you can go to the website. But as I said, ICA, we are focused on the area of aeronautical and energy environment, ICT, industrial engineering, transport, infrastructures, manufacturing technologies, and material and nanotechnology. So without further ado, I would just want to share with you ICA company profile so you have a better idea of how we can collaborate with Jababeka and also the tenant over there and in the whole Indonesian ecosystem, where we can value add whatever current strategy that you have.
To encourage, guide, and innovate. These are the foundations on which we build our future, your future. We approach with you the challenge to boost the industrial research in all its aspects, in the most efficient way, the most human way. We have been managing talent and technology for 3 decades to meet our great premise: bring you the greatest advances. We are ITHEA, the Association of Investigation and Industrial Corporation of Andalusia, a non-profit organization launched from the School of Engineering of Seville as the link between investigation and society. We have more than 300 researchers and manage 26 work teams that offer the best technological and R&D services to the industry. In addition, we publish our results and projects promoting technological progress in Andalusia, whilst improving our engineers and graduates' capacities. We make progress by your side with the project of building a better future. Our research covers the main areas of the industrial telecommunications, aeronautics, and chemistry engineering, providing to each of them the best solution. In the field of energy, we promote projects and activities that secure the production, transport, and distribution of clean energy. We are experts in renewable energy. We focus on energy efficiency in buildings. We study new materials to improve aircraft propulsion. We are leaders in research on unmanned aerial vehicles. We work on the design of embedded system equipments and their ground support systems, and improve airport infrastructures and air traffic management. In the environmental sector, ICEA evaluates and controls pollution and noises. One of our newest contributions is purifying combustion gases, capturing carbon dioxide to achieve a clean production from fossil fuels. We also study the impact of any industrial project to make it efficient. In the field of information and communication, we design circuits, electronic and microelectronic systems for their application on communication systems, industrial control and aeronautics, as well as telecommunication services. We develop advanced software for management and decision-making with applications in industrial and services systems. We design manufacturing plants and warehouses, and with our contributions, we identify production processes and improve the distribution of the final product. In the field of transport and infrastructure, we guarantee safe and efficient mobility of goods and people by land, sea and air. ICEA applies the principles of engineering to the fields of medicine and biology by treating digital signal, optical technologies, processing and surgical instrumentation. We achieve advanced and precise clinical diagnoses. We study the mechanical behavior of materials to ensure they meet the standards of certification. And we introduce new aircraft materials such as carbon fiber or non-crimp fabrics, which are very light and strong composite materials. In the area of nanotechnology, we apply the latest knowledge on physics or nanofluid handling, or in other words, the manipulation of fluids in very small quantities. ICEA also investigates new technologies production, adding the newest techniques of automation and control. We provide global solutions to all production processes. ICEA upgrades the technological progress from Andalusia and improves the capacitation of our university students with more than 250 research grants per year. Improving the skills of Andalusia's engineers is one of our goals. In fact, some ICEA teams have started their own independent research companies, which are called spin-off. Annually, we develop more than 100 research projects, and also we continue to push forward study education, giving more than 250 internships in companies with grants for students and graduates. Now you know us. We are ICEA. We contribute to the progress of the society in a rational and intelligent way, promoting, guiding and innovating. We travel by your side towards a better future.
As you can see, the last slide, the last video is focusing on how we encourage high-tech startup and partner with industrial player, and then only they are be able to sell their technology and services. Where in this region, Malaysia and also Indonesia, I see that many startups are focusing more on low-tech apps and so on, and whenever there is an industry partnership effort between the government and the startup ecosystem, the industrialists find that it's very difficult to jive the startup technology because it's more based on their own cocoon lifestyle tech and focus more on web and so on. So in Spain, when I went there about 3-4 years ago, I find that it's very interesting in terms of what they have done for the past 15 years. They're focusing on high-tech startup so that the industrialists are able to communicate in the same language. Where they are not, so because of the Center of Excellence of ICEA is supporting the industrial ecosystem in Spain, especially Hence why they are able to create new technology from the new ideas of abundance from the students, from the lecturers, from the industry players when they brainstorm together. Even ICEA, one of the founding board members also are the Andalusian government themselves, and the University of Seville. University of Seville is already 500 years old, university, one of the oldest universities in the world. And together with Airbus, military, and so many more companies, they managed to develop new technology. Spanish, normally in this region, we don't really hear about Spanish technology because we've been so used to German technology and Japanese, Korean, and so on. But Spanish, they are more to focus on what they can do for their country. And somehow the engineers coming out from Spain is everywhere, in Europe, in America, and so on, but they have never been promoting their technology. So this is the first time. It takes not a Spaniard, it takes a Malaysian who've been staying in Spain for 18 years and worked for many multinationals in Spain to convince the Spanish ICEA that, hey, I can bring down to my country and our region in Southeast Asia where we believe that customization of technology is a dire need. There's a dire need of customization for technology, where the Spanish have done so much customization with the European technology ecosystem. So hence why we brainstorm and I spoke to Dr. Anand, my partner, and we say that let's come to Indonesia and furthermore his first project coming to this region, even though he opened a company in Malaysia on rail tech, he got a doctorate on rail tech. His first business, even though the company is Malaysia, is actually in Indonesia. 2 years ago, he won a bid to handle the technology for the depot for the first LRT in Indonesia for Palembang. So again, he's a Malaysian, but he's more a Spanish to me because he have focused more on what he can do there better, and he have brought already Spanish mindset in terms of technology customization in Indonesia. And your first LRT in Indonesia, the technology for maintenance is done by Dr. Anand. And furthermore, last year, Dr. Anand, through his rail tech company, and also ICEA have signed an MOU with PT Inca to develop and focus more on rail technology. Yeah, for Indonesia to be more independent in terms of technology manufacturing. So I think Dr. Anand can share with you more in terms of what we want to do, especially with Jababeka, where we find that Jababeka is the right partner in Indonesia in terms of to carry on what we can do for digital manufacturing, especially. Michelle, I'll pass the session to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh. Very interesting introduction of ICEA, and we really want to hear more about it. I think it's now the time I go to Dr. Anand.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Anand.
Hello, Michelle.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure the audience here is also very eager to know about adopting a digital manufacturing ecosystem. So let's jump to the topic of discussion. To Dr. Anand, the time is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning to our panel. Pak Rudy, like you said, we are like brothers.
Always brother.
And I think it's wonderful to be present this morning to give you an idea as to our journey, how we as a company we adopt digital manufacturing ideology in a manufacturing environment. Before I just go further into the topic, I would like to just give you a slight background on what we have been doing prior to the whole process of when we as Exni, we adopted digital manufacturing into our manufacturing ecosystem. Before Exni was developed or created, I was part of as a consultant to the University of Seville, and through University of Seville, ICEA is the technology center for the University of Seville. So there is a kind of a synergy between the University of Seville and ICEA. ICEA operates independently as it's not a public institution. It is a private institution, but having all its professors and working using ICEA as a platform to basically develop industrial research and basically to have a place where applied science can be used as a way of helping companies develop innovative products for their own business. So in essence, we are technology, ICEA, we are technology partners to many companies. And I think Sheikh Fale mentioned earlier that we are technology partners to Airbus, technology partners in the sector of renewable energy. We are technology partners to the largest renewable energy company in the world, Abengoa, and this is what we do. In the last 5 years, ICEA have been collaborating a lot with this technology center in Aeropolis called CATEC. And this center has been researching the application of additive manufacturing to the aerospace industry. So this was the first time I myself had exposure to the power of 3D printing as an alternative to conventional manufacturing processes. After 5 years, we are already now able to print metallic components for the aerospace industry, where you can now basically apply these components directly to an aircraft. So we have gone quite far, from 3D printing to a industrial level application. In 2 years ago, Exni in Spain, together with ICEA, we had a project together with CAF. CAF is a rolling stock manufacturer, and one thing very unique about CAF is they manufacture customized trains. So it became evident that there was a huge application for 3D printing of non-metallic components, where they could basically they could reduce cost. And what we did was we embarked on a project where we developed their digital manufacturing facility for them. So this was the start, the platform where where everything started. So I think I can show you the slides, please. So basically, Exni, we are handling equipment, rolling stock handling equipment manufacturer. We manufacture this component, these heavy machineries that will help with the maintenance of rolling stock trains. And we are basically technology partners to CAF and Talgo and some of the major rolling stock manufacturers in Europe. So basically, we have been in Spain since 1976. And in 2015, we set up our second manufacturing facility in Malaysia to cover the whole of Southeast Asia. Sheikh Fale was kind to point that our first project that we won was actually the Palembang project, where our equipments are there now in the depot. And we also did the complete integration and supply of all the maintenance equipment for the depot. Next slide, please. So now, in Exni, ever since our engagement with CAF and what we did, since 2015, we have already, at that time, already had a strategic plan to move into digital manufacturing. So we started to every design or every innovative product that we came up with had a component where it was linked to concept of whether you call it IoT or you call it all these different terminologies, digital manufacturing or industrial 4.0, it's all about the same thing. How do we incorporate digitization into our conventional ecosystem, in manufacturing. So these are the areas that we were looking at, A, B, and C, and this is the foundation of XNI. All our products have got intelligence in it. So you can see this is basically the whole our railway ecosystem, and you can see on C, digital manufacturing is an important component in our whole business model. What we did in 2 years ago, now has ever since the COVID, like Pak Rudy just mentioned that due to the pandemic, it suddenly dawned on us how important it is for most companies to look into digital manufacturing now more than ever. Because as a manufacturer, during the lockdown, we were really affected by not being able to produce anything, So this is mainly due to the restriction of human interaction. Basically, this COVID whole thing, the whole idea behind the lockdown is to limit human interaction. And for a manufacturer, that really had a huge impact on us because we really rely on our staff to basically operate machines, to weld, to do a lot of things. So it became so much more important for us to basically really think seriously about how can we change our manufacturing ecosystem and really adopt the digital manufacturing in preparation for the future, So when it came to deciding why do we need to adopt, it is basically comes back to cost. In the past, it is quite controversial about how do we go into full automation, smart factories, smart manufacturing, and all this in terms of labor, and it becomes quite political. But after the COVID and this pandemic, I think people are becoming more attuned to the need to have a balance. There are so much of terminologies and so many different technology out there. And when it came to really deciding what was the my focus is on the 3D printing. I'll come to that why. When it came to developing the ecosystem, we had to really understand what was the 3D printing technology that we needed for our process. And it took a while to really educate ourselves about what was out there, because the 3D printing and technology is constantly evolving, and as we speak, there are new technology that is coming up, and so it was important to keep track on what is happening and educate ourselves and what was going on and all that. And all these three ABCs are basically, if you look at it, is how do we look at each manufacturing, digital manufacturing, our 3D printing technology, and how did that contribute to or complement our conventional manufacturing that we already had in our factory. Going back to 2 years, when we first started working with CAF, the main issue with the rolling stock manufacturing was all the non-metallic components. These are basically panels and all that. Especially when you are doing customized trains, when you do normally before you go into mass production, you have to go through a process where you develop a first prototype, and that process can be quite costly because what you design on a 3D model does not really reflect on when it comes to really doing the manufacturing. You will have a lot of problems you will discover. And to correct these problems can be very expensive because most of these panels are basically molds. And if you have a problem, the molds will have to be discarded and new molds have to be created. In normal times, 200 to 300 problems associated to interference, and where you have overlapping of that you don't see in a 3D model. And you can find that there are times where you have to really create new molds, and this can be very expensive. So one of the areas that CAF and us, we decided to look at is how can we incorporate 3D printing of components where we don't have to create the molds first, but at least allows us to create the first prototype. But these are not, when you talk about prototype, these are actual functional panels, but it allows us a level of modification and flexibility where we can change the design and all that. So we started working with Spanish 3D printing companies, Toolmaker and S Discovery. The S Discovery, basically these are 3D printed components which are quite large. These are panels and quite large. In fact, the front apron, you can even print the whole front apron of a rolling stock, the trains. And these are very huge. And so in order to print this kind of components, we had to work also with material manufacturers to experiment with different materials like plastic materials so it's a whole process where you learn as you go along. And of course we started working with HP Jet Fusion 3D, and they were very helpful in coming up with to provide solutions on creating components that sometimes the material doesn't really suit the size of the components, and they were very helpful. Basically, we overcame all these problems, and now today we are already printing parts for actual trains. Now we are going into metal. This is something that currently we are now developing the ecosystem now in Malaysia, and using the same principles as how we went along doing it for the non-metallic in Spain, but now we are doing it in Malaysia now, looking at this. And so for our purpose, where we are actually for Exni, where we are manufacturing railway components, these are metal components. There are many different technology out there. We have decided that it's either beam-based or arc-based. This is basically using more of a welding sort of process, where you add material and you create the part using the same principles as welding and basically arc welding and laser and things like that. So we are now working very closely with some of our technology partners, or these are 3D printing, metal 3D printers. We are working with them closely to co-develop the technology. For the metallic components, for these are basically some of the information that we have gathered. That also holds a lot of merit why we are now going quite aggressively trying to transform our conventional manufacturing processes into looking at 3D printing. From our point of view now, from our experience, we see that 3D printing has the capability of being the primary operation for component manufacturing, and then you have a secondary process where you will then get into the finishing part where you use milling. You can basically see the cost saving here is almost more than half the cost, of producing the same component. So this is something that we are now working very closely with our technology partner in Europe, and basically we are now looking at working very closely with our rolling stock manufacturers and component manufacturers in the railway industry. We are now in a point where we can already now replace a lot of the components for bogies, and these are very heavy, big components. They are probably between 250 to 500 kilograms. So we can already get to that level now. When we talk about the digital ecosystem, at the heart of the digital ecosystem that we created within the company, the heart of it is actually the 3D printing process. Once you have that determined, then the rest comes around it. In this case, you see that we now have to go through a lot of post-processing. We have to look at the types of material. That is a different area of research. Then you have the post-processing treatments, where some clients and some components requires certain surface finishing and all that. And also sometimes you need to basically, some components, we are smaller components, you need to heat treat them. And all these things comes under the post-processing. And then you have the re-engineering, which it's basically 3D scanning and re-engineering of products, components and all this. This is also part of the ecosystem. And then we also are working together with ICEA. Sometimes I have to wear the both hats, as ICEA and also as the EXNI. So we are working with ICEA, where we are developing a new design software that is a more of an AI that is able to automatically creating components that conventional manufacturing processes can't manufacture. Because with 3D printing, we can really create products that normal current conventional printing process cannot actually manufacture. ICEA, we actually do certification and also providing validation for the aerospace industry. So we are now doing that also for the railway industry. Basically, just to show you a general breakdown of how the ecosystem is broken into. You have additive manufacturing and you have digitization, and there's a lot of merit for actually getting your companies to adopt this kind of this into your as we have found into your manufacturing processes. You can see that it's really flexible and it allows us to have real control over our products that are in the market. After COVID, I think it will really change the way we will deal with our clients now, where clients are basically contacting us directly and asking us to 3D print components for us and things like that. I think all these are the application where we are now looking into. We are doing rehabilitation of, this is basically refurbishment of trains, which I earlier mentioned that we can 3D print large panels and all that for the trains. This is one of the first projects that we did in Manila, mostly refurbishment of some of the trains in Metro Manila. Old trains where it was more than 20 years old. And a lot of the designs and all that had been lost, and so we did the whole 3D scanning and rebuilding the whole train from scratch, and then re-engineer the whole train so to make it look a bit more modernized and things like that. This was a very interesting project in Italy. This was there was an accident, and the front part of the train was totally damaged. And basically, they needed us to 3D scan and basically build up the whole train up. And this is something similar in concept to what we did in Manila, but this was more on the metal part because the car body shell was also damaged, and so we had to rebuild the aluminium car body shell using 3D scanning. So basically what you will see here is the application of 3D printing. It is very expensive to create molds where you only want a small number of components. So 3D printing now has these are short series, is applicable, and from a cost point of view, it can be a game changer, You can see as we go along all the different projects, this is something in Baya de Cadiz. We did all this rubber, for the handrails, and this gets worn very fast because people hold and it breaks. And so these are all application, real life examples of what we are doing now with 3D printing. I think a lot of people are talking about Factory 4.0, Internet of Things, 3D printing. So sometimes it's easy to be lost in all this terminology of technology, technological terminology, and it can get a bit confusing. Key here is to really look carefully at what kind of technology is out there. You may already have the digital ecosystem in your factories. Only thing is you haven't really identified yet, but it's there. As you go along, you will find that it's already there. You just need to add certain things. In our case, the 3D printing part was the key component.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Anand. That was a very interesting topic that we were discussing about. And Pak Rudi, do you have any question in mind for Dr. Anand or for Mr. Sheikh?
Yeah, I'm agree with Sheikh and Ananya that we are now facing the same new era because of the pandemic. Everything is digital. That's why Jababeka want to transform. I'm very happy that my friend Pak Sheikh and Pak Anand is confirmed still in this line. I believe After this, we can enter the new world of manufacturing. Last time before the pandemic, the line of business is very, very attractive, very good in the sales. Now they're going down. Now it's coming the new line of business, automation. So now our industrial, our manufacturing use the automation. Last time maybe we difficult to talk about industry 4.0. Now you go to our manufacturing, you're talking about industry 4.0. Yeah, it's very easy.
If I can add, the last 2 months, because we have our equipment in Palembang, and the depot management team told us to say that there were some problems. They encountered some problems with our lifting system, and we, of course, under lockdown, we couldn't go there. So you see, what happened is all our equipment is connected via Wi-Fi. I can diagnose the equipment remotely. It is very interesting that times have changed. During COVID, kita tidak perlu pergi sana, but we are here and we can still monitor and solve the problem.
Yes, I agree. What do you think?
The world we live in now.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Sheikh? I think this is the same with you, kan?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I mentioned earlier, as I said, the reason why the Futurist Foundation is formed is to identify what we have been doing all this while in terms of our silo mindset, in terms of all our technology and the way we do things. In fact, like what you said just now, people are forced to be in the new normal. But as you know, video conferencing has been available since the late 90s. And people in Europe, in America, internally have been doing meeting especially with multinational companies where their offices are everywhere in the world. They have been doing this video conferencing for the past 20 over years. So only this region, we are like, wow, Zoom meeting and this and everything. Where it's not really new. But the good part about the new normal is forced us to use the technology, not get used to how we do things day to day, including our mindset. When it comes to technology, as I said, will we need to wait another 30 more years to invent, not innovate, to invent new technologies? We can't. We've been adopting with innovation, but we forgot about creating. Yeah, so hence why we are proposing to Jababeka to work together so that we can help not only just the Jababeka tenant, but also for the other ecosystem in the whole industrial initiative for Indonesian government.
I just want to add something else. It's true that video conferencing has been for ages, but I think again is how you utilize, because some of our engineers are not able to come over. Now it's this via video. So things have changed also.
Yeah. This is interesting, yeah. But and the point is, yeah, now we cannot working alone. We must collaboration. Yeah. So because this problem is global, one world together the same problem. But we must face this and we must pass it with the positive thing.
Yeah. I think we can now open the question and answer session. So I'm going to read the first question first. You were talking about the 3D printings for metal and how efficient it could be. However, what about the strength of the yield? Is it going to be the same load capacity, same strength as the molded version?
I think it all depends on the material that you use for the industrial 3D printing machine. Yeah, and there are many new material has been invented. Even in ICEA, we have developed new materials. Imagine when Airbus came to us many years ago to build the biggest military air cargo. Yeah. A400M. I think you can see in Mission Impossible, I think. So imagine this is a new task, yeah. So obviously that even the material of the Airbus of the plane needs to be revisited. So basically, it all depends on what you want to build. Number two, there's so many there's so many material out there. But but at the same time, the machines, the industrial 3D machine also plays a very important part. Basically, there is no exact answer to whether the 3D manufacturing component will be stronger than the mold or not. It's just a new method, and I believe some of the product that was developed by the 3D printing also last even longer. But the more reason why you go for industrial 3D printing, especially for the small component, is because if you want to make a small component in a very less quantity, you're not going to spend a lot of money to build a big mold. So you go on industrial 3D printing.
So a lot of the railway components are basically they go through a process of casting, and we have already done some components for instance the railway hubs. We have already done some testing, and we have found that the strength of the component is better than the conventional ones. There's a lot of research out there of creating new material. But as far as 3D printing is concerned, the materials that we are using can be stainless steel, tool steels. We can even 3D print Inconel. Our experience is the components are far superior.
Okay. So another question, do you think that later in the future the 3D printing technology could be used for mass production?
Yes. The one that we are looking at, the ones that I'm talking about right now, for our purpose is basically small batch. But if you can do one, you can do many. So it is an investment to invest in these machines. In our experience, with working with CAF, the ROI, return of investment from the investment that we went into to transform or to implement the digital manufacturing facility for CAF, the ROI was 3 years.
Okay.
Wow, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Maybe a little bit of the overview. Do you think what kind of industry will benefit the most out of this 3D printing technology?
The 3D printing benefits all industries. There are a lot of new companies. They are coming out with new technology that allows you to 3D print different types of components. But then you have more complex components for small motors and things like that you can actually use different types of things. You have laser sintering, you have metal binding jet technology. So all these things, the technology is there. It depends on the practitioner how he wants to implement that technology into their product.
Also, another question about right now we are in the absolute need for digital transformation at accelerated rate. What can companies do now to move fast towards this transformation?
I think really it all boils down to two things: funding, funding, and change of mindset. Because we are now being pushed into an era that 2 months ago was different. So the acceleration part depends on the governments will have to come in and really come out with kind of funding and to help companies transform.
Hence why we are proposing to Jababeka, where maybe instead of all the tenants by their own initiative towards digital manufacturing, where we thought of maybe we can open up a center of excellence on high tech, where we can provide the services for the Jababeka tenant.
Wow, so it's a facility that can be used by all of the tenants. They don't have to buy their own machines.
So one of the thing that you mentioned, Sheikh, is very interesting in the sense that although the economic scale is, but we are also living in the era of the economy of customization.
Yes,
where companies wants to really customize through 3D printing. You allow this massive flexibility in customization. I think it's a very good thing. I think Jababeka is poised to be a game changer in this region. I think there was a question earlier which I would like to address. In Europe, for the last 10 years or even more, we have already started. A long time ago, we already started to as part of our manufacturing process. It's already automated anyway.
So another question, quite similar with the first with the previous question. Is it what is the step to change the company that were previously traditional, so they can adopt the digital or the high tech? How fast do you think we can apply this in Indonesia?
I think all this technology, I think the adoption of the technology can be done quickly, because this technology is already mature enough and is already available. I've been working with additive manufacturing for the last 5 years, and within 5 years, the development of the technology has been exponential. The technology is evolving rapidly, so it's important to understand what is the technology and how does it contribute to your product. Then only you will see the benefit.
Well, because at first the problem was the mindset and the funds, right? But due to this sharing technology that ICIA and Jababeka will later collaborate in, there is another question asking, if you don't mind, can you explain why you choose to collaborate with Jababeka and not with other industrial estate?
To Chef Khalid to answer that.
Well, the thing is, I know. I mean, I think that is not the first time I hear that question. Yeah, I've been going to Indonesia every month for the past 2 years. Well, yeah, of course, there's so many industrial estate in this region. Yeah, not just Indonesia, even in Malaysia as well. What I like about after speaking to the board of directors and owners of Jababeka, I find that the passion is very strong.
Thank you.
Not just for the Jababeka tenant, not just for the ecosystem, but the whole nation. And also towards the betterment of human mindset in terms of human capital, in terms of technology, and so on. So I believe that a strong passion is important. So we find that, me and Anand find that after speaking, I think 3 to 4 times real brainstorming session with the board director of Jababeka, we really believe that the passion that I see myself in Spain from the founding members of ICIA, and even Dr. Anand have introduced me to so many technologies, the same attitude and mindset in Jababeka is important for us to jive and connect this initiative, so that we can do this not just for Jababeka tenant, but the whole Indonesia, and also the region, so that this region can be a superpower region in terms of manufacturing new technology.
And if I may add something else, I think Sheikh Khalid just hit it on the head. The thing is, the other part is very important as well. Is like you mentioned, the Sheikh Khalid, the leadership is also very innovative, and I think Jababeka has got the innovative mindset to be a disruptor. Because not many industrial estates are looking at becoming a technology and innovation-driven industrial estate. And I think Jababeka has the leadership has got that mindset in, and I think that will definitely now is more relevant due to what is happening right now. I think that is key.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much to both of our guest speakers, Mr. Sheikh Faleh and Dr. Anand. Thank you very much also, Pak Rudi, for this discussion today. And also the warmest thanks to all of our viewers, participants of this Zoom meeting, and also the viewers in the YouTube. We will continue to creating more and more beneficial contents for all of you. And due to the time is very limited, we have to end. We are coming to the end of this session, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram for the next webinar invitation of Jababeka Industrial Talk. Yeah.
Maybe you have last word or anything?
Yeah, do you have any final closing remarks from both of you?
Okay.
I just want to say that to all our audience today, It can be quite daunting when you're thinking about transforming, changing. But I think what we have right now, we have to do it. We have to do it, and this will be the change for the future. And it is not as complicated and scary as what you think it is. You know, you're just breaking it down into step by step, and you should be okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. As I said, I want to emphasize one thing, especially for the startup industry in Indonesia. It's all about mindset in terms of what we want to do. If you only have yourself and your team, the stakeholder to conclude a decision is very limited. So hence why the modus operandi or the mindset that I saw in ICEA allows startup and industry players and the government, because policy also is very important. So a combination of the stakeholders is very important in terms of what decision a startup want to do in terms of their business avenues. Yeah. The thing that we are proposing, we want to implement a new mindset for the ecosystem, not just for the industrialists, the technology player, also for the startup, where we brainstorm together in terms of how we can achieve a better future.
For me, we must always talk to the positive people. Then we always positive. Thank you very much, for your supporting my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again, and we will see you on the next Jababeka Industrial Talk.
Yeah.
Stay positive and stay healthy, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.